Here, my man George Mosee. What's good, G?
What's up, guys?
I'm chilling, man. All right, G. We were texting during the Devin Haney Ryan Garcia fight. Talk your shit, man.
No, I ain't gonna do that. I ain't gonna do that, man. So when we had the initial interview about the fight, I said I thought it was gonna be a competitive fight. I didn't expect what we saw though. Not at all. I don't think nobody expected that. I don't even think Ryan Garcia expected that. It was more so than anything, it was disappointing, man. It was disappointing to see a guy like Haney, who everybody had such high hopes on, not just lose, but he got beat up, man. Like when we were texting, what I was saying to you was that, it looked like he can't take a punch. Like you see guys get hit and you see him react in certain ways, but the way he was reacting to those shots was it was disturbing. It was like, whoa, like is this guy, we may have overestimated Devin Haney. Like not a skill set, just maybe, I don't know if it's a mentality, I don't really know how to call it. It just looked like he wasn't taking those shots well, man. Not at all. So
what do you think was the deciding factor in that fight? Is it that he couldn't take Ryan's power?
He clearly couldn't take Ryan's power. I didn't think it was going to be like that. I mean, we seen him get hit. Now, is Ryan Garcia that much of a more harder puncher than me, myself? Assume? Maybe. But we've seen him get touched. We've seen him get rattled. But that was just like, it was almost like, I can't remember exactly what round it was. It looked like he could have actually knocked him out, but the ref kind of jumped in there and got in between them. It looked like the ref kind of saved him.
Round one, right? Ryan buzzed Dev with like a counter left hook. Mm-hmm. But from 2 to 7, Dev dominated.
Yeah, for sure.
I think it's the 7th round where he caught him with I think it was the hook off the jab.
So the one thing me and you was texting about was that he wasn't throwing any punches. You know what I mean? Ryan wasn't throwing anything in those rounds. Those 5 rounds, he wasn't throwing shots. That's what I text you, like, yo, because this fight is ass. Like, Dev can't take a punch and Ryan can't box. He's not throwing anything. But every time Ryan engaged, he was beating Dev up. You know what I'm saying? He was beating him up. So I don't know if it was a part of his game plan. It almost seemed like he was pacing himself to just fight in spurts. But every time he fought in those spurts, man, he was beating Dev up, and it looked bad. It looked bad. But honestly, at the end, I will honestly say I thought they was gonna give the fight to Dev, or I thought they was gonna call it a draw, because the only rounds that Ryan won were the rounds where he dropped Dev, where he actually was busy. Those are the only rounds he won. So the fact that they gave him the decision, I was surprised. He earned it, but I was very surprised that they did give it to him, because again, the only rounds he won were the rounds when he dropped them.
I agree. In the first round.
Yeah.
I get, yeah, but
right.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. All right. So heading into it, Ryan missed weight by, I think, 3.2 pounds. Mm-hmm. Now, according to Ryan, he said that was his game plan. He doesn't want to fight under 143 pounds. They traded the weight for the money. I think Dev was at 140 flat and might have came in like 139.8. Do you think that was a mistake by Bill Haney for not making Ryan work off the weight and just taking the money?
Well, now, once you see the result, it's an easy answer, which would be yeah. But at the time, so this is the thing about weight with boxing. Now, the casual fan may say, oh man, it's only 3 pounds, but guys who shake weight for camp understand what that 3 pounds mean. If I come into camp and we supposed to fight at 140, and the whole time I'm in camp, I'm focused on that specific weight. You know what I mean? That means for weeks leading up to the fight, I may not be anywhere higher than about 147, maybe 150, cutting it close. The week of the fight, I'm right there at about 142, 143, so I can just shake out those last couple pounds, weigh in, bam, that's it. So for a guy to be 3 pounds over means either one or two things, which in this case, matter of fact, in this case, it was just the one thing. He was just strictly walking around, moving around at a certain weight, which I think may have been closer to like a 160, because even at the fight, did they ever say what he rehydrated to?
No.
Yeah, because he looked 160, 165. Because again, Dev and Ryan aren't short guys. When you got Shakur and Tank, they're smaller guys. Those guys are about 5'9", which is a nice height for a fighter, especially a a 140. You know what I mean? So Ryan looked like he was 160. Dev was in shape, you know, cut up, but probably looked about 147, maybe 150. But Ryan was clearly a lot bigger. He wasn't even really cut. He was just in there like, you know, on a bruiser tip. So
it looked like Dev was in the 50s. But a pushback would be, fans would say, oh, well, you know, Dev rehydrates up to 160, so the weight doesn't matter, not understanding that it's the actual cutting of the weight.
Exactly.
It's like me having to cut the weight as opposed to me putting the weight on. It's the cutting that depletes you.
Exactly. And that was a good way of saying it. That's the tough part is the cutting. It's not the actual end result. It's the cutting of the weight. So yeah, that definitely played a part in it. Definitely.